So what is CP animation? Well, CP animation really stands for copy paste animation. It's an animation that you do just to get an idea out, and before you even get to the animation part, you're going to want to get to the idea part before the animation. So that's more like your storyboard. And even before that, that's going to be your script. And even before that, it's going to be your story outline. And before that, it is the idea itself. So you see, once you probably get to this sort of CP animation, you probably should at least have something jotted down or something sketched out, which is exactly what we're going to do, because you can use CP animation for anything, not just a story. We just happen to be using it for a story. The second idea behind CP animation is the fact that you're using technology that wasn't really necessarily meant for animation, but you're going to use everything in that technology to achieve what you want to achieve. And today we just happen to be using PowerPoint to create our movie or our animation. Now in PowerPoint, we want to start off by understanding that there's a ton of tools up in here for drawing and animation, but it's not really traditional animation that we're focused on. We're just focused on getting our idea across with some movement. So it's almost like a half still, half animated, it's partial. So part of this will be animated and part of it will be still. We just use the tools that we have to get our point across. So here in PowerPoint, I'm starting off with a blank PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to select anywhere on the screen. I'm going to hit Control A to select everything on the screen, and I'm going to hit Delete because I don't need that there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drawing here. And the cool thing about PowerPoint is the fact that it has these draw tools right here. And I have myself a Wacom tablet. It's not my larger one that I'm using. If it were, things would be a lot maybe smoother than what's going to happen, what I'm going to do right now. But I don't really care about the art itself. I'm not trying to be an artist here. No one is trying to be an artist here. What we're trying to do when we're talking about our sketches and our storyboard is just to see where things go. See if we envision it the right way initially. So I'm going to go ahead and select this pen, and I'm going to come up with something where maybe I have a some sort of moon here. And by the way, you can either sketch these things out or you can drag something here just so it could be there. But really, you don't want to be dragging things around so much, because the idea of sketching is allowing you to talk to yourself and think about what you are coming up with. So don't really focus on whether it's the greatest art that you've ever done, because you're not trying to be an artist. You're more trying to just think about your idea. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be some sort of mountainside at night. I'm not sure where this mountainside would be. We'll put some shadows here so I can know that it's at night. The moon is over here. And just to make sure that I know that that's a moon, I'm going to go ahead and put some stars. There, is that straightforward? Now we get the idea. Okay, that must be the moon at night. And if you really want to know that that's the moon, I'm just going to go ahead and add some craters or something like that in there, just so you can really understand that I mean this to kind of be the moon. So just little details like that is what count. I don't have to put too much on there, So you get the idea. It's at night and it's the moon. Now I want to show the idea that the camera is actually moving forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw me out a shape here of an arrow moving forward. And if I really wanted to use some sort of shape here, I can go here to the shapes, select my arrow, drag it out like that, and then flip it down, like just scale it the opposite way. And to make it look like it's on the ground, I'm going to right click on this, edit shape, drag this out, and drag this down. There we go. And then I could shift to select these. Alright, so now I have something that looks like it's at least pointing, it's on the ground going forward this way. And if I wanted to get rid of this one right here, all I got to do is go to my draw tools, and I have this eraser tool right here. And if I go ahead and click on that, it'll erase it. So that pretty much says exactly what I want to say. So I'm going to go to the next slide, go to slide new. I'm going to create this slide here, but what I could do here is say, okay, since I'm already zoomed in, I could use this right here. So I'm going to select that, copy it, and paste it over here, and just put it over here. Since I'm somewhat zoomed in, that's going to be a little bit bigger. So you see how I'm kind of reusing some of the stuff that I drew. That's why I'm saying it's not really about the art itself. So then I can go ahead and change the view of the mountains. So that gives me a sense that I'm a little bit closer, right? And again, I'll just put the dots here for the stars. All right, good. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this right here by selecting it and hitting Control D. And then I select on this slide, and the way I can tell it's selected because I have this orange outline here. So that's already selected. So now I'm going to put what happens next in my scene. And what happens next is this plane comes into the scene, to the shot, or this jet. And I'm going to put these lines here, these speed lines, so I can know that that jet is coming into view. And so after that, I want my camera to then, oh, but look, I switched these two. So what I can do is just switch these like this. I'm going to just drag it and bring it down so that way they're in the right order. See, before it was like this, and I'm just dragging this one down. Since I made a mistake and drew the plane here, I really meant that to be the third one. So the next shot I want is for, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. And the next shot I want is for the plane to be into view, and maybe the background is moving. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to move this plane over here, and then I'm just going to delete these lines, these individual lines. So I'm going to go to the erase tool by going to draw and then erase, and then I can erase these individual lines. Let me first go into here, erase tool, there we go. Because now what I want to see is, I want to be able to see the background somewhat moving. So instead of the stars being steady, I'm going to do like this to the stars. So get an idea that the background itself is moving. And if I really wanted to be precise here, I can show an arrow going like this, or I can draw that arrow out. Jeez, I can't get a straight line on this. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're looking at, here's our first slide, second slide. First slide, we start moving in. Second slide, we're here at this shot. Third slide, we're here. And if you've ever seen my art, you'd know that this is far below my normal capabilities. So as you can see, what I'm doing here has zero to do with art. It has to do with just, does it make sense? Does this idea make sense? And so that's how you're pushing forward with this. So I can imagine, okay, there's my plane. The next thing I want to do is go inside the cockpit. So I'm going to go ahead and make me create a new slide, sorry. And so I'm here at the new slide. And now basically I just want to show what's inside the cockpit. Now, this is a really good chance for you to be able to see whether you're envisioning things, whether you know how a cockpit looks or not. Sometimes it's a good idea to just try to see what you remember, and if you can somewhat make it look like a cockpit. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw a guy's hand here. Normally they're wearing a seat belt. Heads here. Normally they got something on, let's say like these headphones, right? So he has these headphones on. And his hand is on the controller. So that's the guy. I'm just going to, because I really just want to focus on the concept itself, the copy. I'm going to just paste him out, move this guy over here, and I'm going to flip him around just by dragging this over like this and flipping that around. And now from here, I can pretty much just change a few things around. Maybe he doesn't have that. Maybe he has something else in his hand. And then I'm going to make the dashboard. And then normally they would have this huge window, you know, that they could see out of. And then it's going to warp around this way. And then I have this dashboard here. And then I have like buttons and stuff here. We don't have to see all the buttons. Just kind of give the suggestion. So just by the suggestion alone, we have ourselves something that actually, to us, can resemble the cockpit, and to anyone who looks at it, they can say, "Oh, that I guess that looks, yeah, that looks like it. I get it. It's they're in some sort of flying device, right? They're in some sort of cockpit, and then to make sure the background looks the same as the background that I had when they were flying. So I don't want a city background there because they weren't even flying next to the city, unless I wanted them to be going towards the city in this scene, you know. So, and then I can go ahead and put the stars and stuff there just like before. And there you have it. So we have our scene from beginning to end. We have the first scene. We go here, we zoom in a little bit, and then this plane comes into view. And then we see the plane at the side view, and then we move into our cockpit. So let's see what we can do with the animation with this and our CP animation. We're going to go ahead and continue from this storyboard and start our animation in the next video. See you guys then.